So despite its importance in the history and evolution of watch design, the dress watch as a category falls far behind the popularity of the now widely hyped sports watch craze. In many ways, this is not much of a surprise given society's gradual shift to more casual attire, but in this video, I'm going to share 4 reasons why I think you should still own a dress watch in 2023. And if you want a good jumping off point to understanding what dress watches are available to you in 2023, I'd recommend checking out our picks for 25 of some of the top watches in the industry in the dress watch category. We have a wide range of different options. Also, when you're talking about price category, something for everybody to love. This was put together, kind of curated. So if you want to get lost, use it as a good jumping off point for your research. I linked to that in the description down below. Definitely go check that out. It's on teddybaldassarre.com. Before looking at our 4 points specifically, I think it is important to understand some of the backstory of dress watches. As simply put, the dress watch is the most significantly important design style in watchmaking for not only the last few decades, but really for centuries. Back in the 16th and 17th centuries, it's important to remember early pocket watches were almost completely handmade by a single artisan and therefore prohibitively expensive for all but a select few, and it acted as a status symbol. And pocket watches, being the design of this era, were commonly refined, were ornate, and intended to demonstrate the artistic capabilities of watchmakers or a brand, and were greatly connected to the general attire. As the industry shifted from pocket watches to wrist watches during the early 20th century, we saw an overabundance of iconic designs stemming from the dress watch DNA throughout the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. It was really not until the popularization of the dive watch in the 1950s where we started to see a shift away from dress pieces. This snowballed with the popularization of chronographs, digital watches, and the polarizing integrated sports pieces of the time, and swatches in the following decade. And fast forward to the 21st century, we're now a society where the majority of the workforce is no longer wearing formal attire to work every single day. So with this being the case, why a dress watch? So for my first point here for the dress watches are surprisingly versatile. When people think of versatility, often this classification is paired with sports-oriented pieces like divers, and dress watches are often seen as one-dimensional. This said, I don't think this is an accurate depiction of reality, as I believe it is much easier to dress down a dress watch than dress up a sports watch like a diver. This is a theme that is true for pretty much all attire. What looks more out of place? Dress shoes when you are wearing them with more casual materials like denim pants, or work boots when you need to wear a suit. For point number 2, we have dress watches have stood the test of time more than any other type of watch. Now, it's important to note that sports-oriented watches are much newer progressions in watch design than that of the dress watch. This is especially the case in the category of integrated sports watches that have come to dominate in the recent years. Yet it's crucial to remember that when these watches like the Royal Oak and the Nautilus were released, they were polarizing to say the least, if not downright hated by some, with the insane secondary market premiums only being a development of the last half decade. In contrast, watches like the Patek Philippe Calatrava, the Cartier Tank, JLC Reverso, and Omega Constellation all have designs that are far more conventionally classic and have a longer track record of standing the test of time. Say if you were to fast forward 100 years and ask people of that period what is more acceptable to wear in this period of time and doesn't look dated as a result. Say you looked at the Cartier Tank and then the other one was the Patek Nautilus, and you asked those people that question. What do you think they would give the nod to? I have no clairvoyant abilities, but I have a strong feeling that the Tank would win out as being more timeless. For point number 3, we have sometimes you just need to dress up. No matter how much time you can spend working from home or shopping at Lululemon, there are certain situations where you simply must dress up, and nothing is going to work as well as a dress watch in this instance. Although it's not as deflating, it is the equivalent of having a formal gathering like a wedding or a work function that requires formal attire like a suit and not having a suit ready to go. It's kind of a powerless feeling. Norms certainly are changing, and it has become more acceptable to wear things like a more restrained dive watch with a suit, but I think many will agree the dress watch always manages to complete this look more in the circumstance. And then for point number 4 for the dress watch, and why I think you should consider one in 2023, is understatement in a world that exalts the conspicuous. Unfortunately, watches in recent years have become a pathway for some to show off their wealth and status to others. Much of what has been the impetus for this craze has been the blingy sports watches that emphatically cry for attention rather than subtly being discovered for those that have a genuine interest. The idea where conspicuously flaunting wealth through a watch has become a norm for a certain affluent clientele also in turn has made people a target for robberies and crime. And in my opinion, and I do want to stress again, my opinion, watches should be expressions of our individuality. And I have always appreciated a piece that feels like an authentic element of myself, not what can get the attention of others. Dress pieces by their nature somewhat exalt this idea. It's never about the attention seeking. So if you do decide to own one, it is because you probably end up liking it. And in a world that is consistently seeking attention, I find this to be a pretty beautiful trait. If you ever look at just general taste in society, it's very cyclical. So to say that a dress watch will become the norm again, I don't think is that crazy. I think this whole just sports craze at some point might die down. It might not be the most popular thing, and who knows, maybe it'll shift back over to dress watches. That's just kind of how the world works in terms of cycle of taste if you look at design, fashion over the years. So who knows? But all right guys, that is my take making the case for why you should own a dress watch in 2023. Do you agree with my take? Do you not agree with my take? Do you have a dress watch? Why did you decide to buy one? Love to see comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Really would appreciate that as well. Definitely check out TeddyBaldassarre.com, full authorized dealer of 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.